Alright everyone, in this video we're going over the top 5 card draw spells or effects in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Card draw is a really important part of any card game, like being able to get more resources and get to the cards you really need. The quicker is better. So we're going to go over the cards that help you do that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. First up is Jar of Greed. Jar of Greed is it's a 1-for-1, which is not the best, but it's a trap card. It can be played at instant speed, and it also lets you, cycle through your deck a little faster, and let you get to the stuff you really need a little bit quicker. So it's on the list. It's at the fifth position, but it's on this list. Next up, we have Card Trader itself. This is a really good filtering card. It allows you to basically pick the card that's less useful to you each turn, shuffle it back in the deck, and draw a new card. Very similar to Bandit Keith's ability. But this is a long-term thing you can use every turn as long as it stays on the board. So it's why it's on the list. Mainly because there's ability to be a constant ability, which is why it's on this list. So over the course of the game, it's very useful. Next up on the list we have Maw-Ray of Greed. I'm sure I just butchered that name. This is a very powerful spell card, draw card if you're playing water creatures. You shuffle 2 water monsters into your hand from your deck, or from your hand into your deck, and then you draw 3 cards. Drawing 3 cards is very powerful. The fact that this card is limited down to water creature decks makes it where it's at in this list, but it's still a very strong card if you're playing that type of deck. Next up on the list is Heart of the Underdog at the 2nd place spot. This is a very strong continuous spell card if you're playing normal creatures. Again, the reason why it's not higher in this list is because it's a situational card that basically needs you to play a lot of normal type monsters. But normal type monsters are actually pretty popular in this game. Dinosaur decks use a lot of normal monsters. There's a lot of 1700 beaters that people play. So this card can see a lot of use out of it. You can easily draw like 3 or 4 cards a turn if your deck is stacked a certain way. So for decks that have a majority of the creatures are normal, this is an amazing card that can easily give you some card advantage. Before I go on to my first pick, I wanted to do this honorable mention real quick. The Ace is a pretty powerful card draw spell. It's just, the reason why it's honorable mention is because it's luck based, so you're not always going to get the effect. Half the time you won't get the effect, but when you do, it's very powerful. 2 cards for 1 card, very good, just like Pot of Greed, which is an amazing card that's not even named because of how good it is. But most decks are not going to want this card because the potential ability to give your opponent 2 cards is very, very bad for you. The only decks that probably going to want to play this card are decks where you're comboing off, you don't really care about what your opponent has, or decks that have like second coin toss so you can kind of minimize the chances of your opponent getting the effect. Or mill decks, where you want to make your opponent draw more cards so they can run out of cards in their deck. And finally, the last card we have on the list is Shard of Greed. Very powerful card draw, mainly because it doesn't really have any limitations or like special situational use. Any deck can use this, which is what makes it so good. Is that any deck can use it. It's just going to draw you 2 cards. Simple as that. You do have to wait 2 turns, which can be a downside, but most of the time it's not. It's also a continuous card, so it could be destroyed before it gets to go off. But again, most people are not gonna use their precious spell and trap removal to destroy this. There's just usually other targets you want to hit first. So you would almost always draw 2 cards off of this. It's just very, very nice, very useful. Doesn't really have any strings attached. It's just draw 2 cards most of the time. Well, that's it for this list. I hope everybody enjoys these top 5s. I plan on doing a lot of them because there's definitely a lot of topics I could go over with these. And if anybody, if you decide you want to donate to my channel just to help me put out more videos or whatnot, that's perfectly fine. It's you can find it in my channel page. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.